Good morning, everyone. It is 11:06. Welcome to the second conversion clinic of the month, and I'm super excited to have everybody in this space. We've got two special guests coming into our space today. The first half, we've been blessed with the presence of Coach Elias to drop some gems, give us some insights, some feedback, to propose some inquiries that are going to trigger our thought process. And then on the back end of the conversion clinic today, we will be joined by our Zillow rep out of Seattle, Washington, Max, who I'm super excited to bring into the space. How's everyone doing? Take yourselves off of mute. Let's do a really quick check-in. And just how's everyone doing? Give me a emoji on the screen. Give me a hey, give me a smile. Give me I'm not feeling it. Burning your forehead is oily. Give me something. Patrick, you good? Elias got that good shine on that good cranium. Joseph, it's good to see you this morning.
Hey, Vernon, quick question, brother. Quick question. Where do you get your accessories at, man? Because you always got the fly frames and you always got the necklaces, man. Where do you get them accessories from?
You know, bro, thank you for recognizing game when it's in your face, Patrick. And I'm gonna give you that a little bit later on because that's private. We've got some.
He can't tell you, bro. It's like, oh, what kind of cologne are you wearing? No, because then you're gonna show up smelling like me. No.
Exactly. So thank you for asking, Patrick. You, my guy. You know, we tap in all throughout the day. So I will put you up on game because I know you're gonna rock it well. So thank you for asking. Thank you for recognizing the uniqueness and just who I am. You know what? Let's talk about unique ability. No, I'm just playing. We're not going to talk about unique ability right now. Coach, welcome to Otis. Is that a hand? Can I see a face with the hand? Ooh, Lisette made it by the skin of her teeth. Big O, is that a hand going once, twice? Coach, thank you for coming into our space. It's always a pleasure to have you here. Before we get into having dialogue about challenges and so on and so forth, I really want to give you the microphone and mute myself so that I can learn something from you, so that we can learn something from you just as it relates to the art and science of converting and what it is that we're experiencing right now. Coach Elias?
Yeah, I appreciate that, you guys. And I don't have too much. But what I want to start out with is I want to start out with you guys first and foremost. And the fact that this conversion clinic has become what it's become in just 4 short weeks, you guys should give yourself a pat on the back and give Vernon a pat on the back. But also, I think it's all in how the message is delivered. This isn't a right. You don't have a right to these leads. And I'm going to be real as penitentiary steel with everybody on this call and everyone that will see this in the future. You have no right to these leads. I don't care who you are on this call, what level of production that you have obtained. You don't have a right to these leads. This is a privilege, and you've been chosen to be on these because you have proved yourself, you have auditioned, you have showed that you can convert at a high level. But as much as we like you, it's not about relationship. This program has zero to do with relationships. I have a pretty good relationship with a lot of you on this call right now, but it has nothing to do with a relationship. This program is ran solely off the data. Now, we make decisions based off the data, and that's it. Why? Because that's what Zillow holds us to. And as much as we like you, the much as we love you, the much as we want to do lunch with you, none of that matters. This program is a data-run program. And if your metrics are not hit, your numbers are not there, unfortunately, we have to make tough decisions, whether we pause you or remove you entirely from the program. And that's just the way that it goes. To be on the Flex program, I want to put some things into context here. This program comprises about 13 to 16% of all of our company dollar year over year. There was a time where it was about 8 to 10%, but it is a significant amount of our production year over year. And I want to put some things into context. When you guys meet with Zillow today, there was a word that was thrown around a couple weeks ago from Zillow, said, if you guys continue a trend of non-performance, low metrics, and not hitting the numbers that you guys need to hit for this program, then we potentially can disengage you. Disengage is a word I never want to hear in this program. That to me is a gut punch. He also said if there is markets where the phone calls are not getting picked up and where the metrics are low in certain demographics, then we're just going to take those leads and give them to the teams that are outperforming you in your market. You guys know how competitive of a person that I am, right? We're a #1 team. We're #2 in the world of all of EXP. I'm super, super competitive. To hear that this talented of a team is going to have leads taken from them and go give it to a fucking Twin Oaks or whoever else that team is, that is a gut punch. And I want you guys to own it just like we own it as leaders and as coaches of this environment. I want you guys to own it. This is a privilege for you guys. And when we think about this, I want to put some things into context here. When you look at the lifetime overall closing, you can see this on the right-hand side of my screen. Don't worry about everything else. But think about this. 248,110,360. This is the amount of volume that has been closed from a result of your efforts. So if we take that $248 million of production that you guys have put on the board because of all of your efforts, and if we times that by an average commission of 2.5% commission, that gives us a grand total of right around $6.2 million in real estate volume, or excuse me, GCI, and that which will equate to you guys getting paid out in commission. Why do I say that? When you think about $6.2 million of paid out commission, what does that mean for you guys? How many vacations have you guys been able to go on that money? What has that done for you? If you look at your year-over-year growth, if you look at since the inception of this program, if you've been on this program for a while, if you've closed some deals, like what has that money done for you? And from that deal that you closed on Zillow, what other opportunities opened for you? Did you meet other buyers? Did you meet other potential sellers? Did you post a video that had tons of traction because you closed on that property? It was all a lead that was given to you because you performed well and you received that opportunity for you, right? That's something that you guys need to look at. And imagine if that type of commission and that type of retained dollar for you in your pocket and for the company, imagine that goes away. Imagine that goes away. So maybe your business is comprised of 20% online leads, 20% sphere of influence, 20% community, 20% social media, and 20% miscellaneous, right? If you take away that fraction, that 20%, what type of impact does that make to your business, right? There's times where you guys need your phone to ring, and there's times that Zillow will do exactly that for you. And if you do well here, you're going to get other opportunities. You might even be on the seller program as well because you did well here. Now you get the opportunity to work with sellers, which opens up a whole new opportunity, all new opportunities for you. So I want you guys to think about this in the context of what's been able to be accomplished in this program. Think about the commission that has been paid out and how that can truly, truly impact you. And then I want you to imagine that, what if that went away? What if that went away? I don't want that to be a reality for us in any way, shape, or form. There's people on this call that we've had a long relationship with for years and years and years on this team. But sometimes we tend to be a little bit complacent, and it's no fault. I'm not pointing any fingers, but what I want to say is that this is a time where you take every single lead opportunity that you get from this program serious. This is serious. The disposition, how you're handling it, how you're working all the things that we ask of you guys to do, and say, you know what, I'm going to own this. I'm not going to let a Twin Oaks smoke us. I'm not going to let another team in the Bay Area smoke us. We're Team Fast. We're the best of the best. And we know that if we can help you guys convert 1 point more, 2 point more, maybe that's a vacation. Maybe that's something for the twins. Maybe that's something that you want to buy. Maybe that's the down payment on an investment property that you're buying in Tennessee. I don't know what that is. But if you eliminate that, now how are you going to supplement those leads? And that's really all that I wanted to say, you guys. I hated hearing the word disengagement. I hated hearing, well, what if we just take those leads and give it to a team that's outperforming you? Like, that's a gut punch to me. I love to win. But I hate to lose. I fucking hate to lose. So my thought and my sentiment before I turn it back over to Vernon is that you guys have an opportunity to raise our conversion, change the conversion, make an impact on our conversion, get better, and really own these metrics. It's up to you guys to change the course of where we're at in this program. And if you need the support and help, that's why we're here. That's why Vernon is dedicating so much time into these conversion clinics to make sure that you guys are in the best position to win and that we protect the asset. The asset is these company generated leads that give you guys the opportunity to impact your family and make money. That's all I have to say. And I just want to share those thoughts and sentiment with you.
Thank you, Coach. Really appreciate. I hope you heard of course, we always hear the passion and the intention in Elias's delivery and presentation, but it's real, you guys. And we have the ability, the talent, the skills, the gifting to change that trajectory. Now, I'm at this meeting kind of like a call to action. It's one of the reasons why I posted the reel this morning in the Slack channel to call a call to action. Those who are not in the space right now aren't getting in the space. So how I see this is those of us who are in this room are those of us who are willing to take the torch and really deliver. Can I get an amen? Can I get a thumbs up? Can I get a heart on the emoji? Can I get a clap, 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 clap? Can I get some kind of interaction? Because I echo Elias. Disengagement, that's not even a word in our vocabulary, okay? Removing zip codes from our possession and giving them to someone else, that's like taking food off of our plate and putting it on somebody else's plate. Right. And I know from having these person-to-person conversations with a whole bunch of you guys in the one-on-ones, we all could use a little bit more food on our plate. We have an opportunity while we're engaged to re-engage and to recommit to turn the corner. And that's what I'm bringing Max on for at 11:30. He's really going to give us some insight and some feedback around some suggestions around what we can do to turn the corner as a team and some best practices that we may be able to mirror and or implement that will assist us in turning the page, turning the corner so that our conversion numbers, no one taking my food. Okay, I appreciate that, Patrick. I appreciate that. So here's what. We've got legit 12 minutes before Max joins us on the call. Elias, appreciate you, bro. You know, I got mad love and respect for whatever it is that you do in this space. Got some questions for you guys. Let's take this next 11 minutes to really open up the discussion around some of the challenges that we're experiencing. Whether it's in your dialogue, in your communication with the lead, what are some challenges that we're experiencing? And I really want you guys to open this space up to some feedback, because the answers are in the collective wisdom, okay? We learn from each other by understanding challenges and collectively working to identify solutions to those challenges, or you may have identified some solutions as you worked through those challenges. We're 2 weeks into August 17th, post August 17th, 3 weeks. What are some of the challenges that you guys have been experiencing, either in dialogue, in communication, in converting, getting a BRBC signed, getting a single touring agreement signed? What are some of those challenges? And if I'm sure there's some. I know I've had some. Am I by myself here? I'll give you guys a few moments to really.
I'll jump in. I've got some.
Okay, Tim. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Of course. I'm having a very big challenge for any leads that I acquired prior to needing to get a BRBC signed, getting them to then want to sign something to tour after there's been call it a 1 to 2 week fall off of not seeing a handful of these people. All of those people seem to have shifted off. So if anyone's experienced that, I'd love some dialogue suggestions.
Okay, just so that I'm clear. So these are clients that you had in your pipeline prior to August 17th.
Yep.
So have you met the appointment? You've shown some properties. Where are you in sequence of service for them?
Yeah, exactly. So met them, shown them a couple of properties, maybe did a second round of tours after meeting them at the initial property, and then say, I don't know, 10 days go by and not a whole lot of response or not a whole lot of word. Trying to reach back out to those people and get them back out touring now that they have to sign something is proving challenging.
I have two questions for you. And this is just as it relates to sequence and efficacy around staying engaged with the client. Are any of those clients, have they undergone or taken them through the buyer consultation? Once you've met them at the property, shown them some properties, were you able to transition some of them into the next step in your sequence, meaning a buyer consultation? Yes, no?
Yes. I'd say about 50%. 50% have sort of gone through call it an informal, either Zoom or phone call
Okay.
buyer presentation.
Okay, Tim, that's great. I love it. And so of those clients, do you have them added into your Real Scout? Do they have a Real Scout profile to where you're dripping them through the platform?
Yes.
Okay. I would encourage, and you guys feel free to contribute to the space if you've experienced this challenge and you've overcome it. But what I would encourage, Tim, is to really manage and monitor that Real Scout, their home search behavior, right? Because we can use the observation of their home search behavior as an entry point to re-engage in terms of communication. Okay, that would be one piece, right? Real Scout is super useful for that because it's an automated system and it allows us to see who's engaged in the market and who's not. So I would use that as an entry point for engagement and a reason to really reach out to them with some substance. Hey, I just saw you looked at 123 Main Street, putting together my showing schedule for Saturday and Sunday. Which of those 2 days is best for you? What time is best for you? Just in a way to re-engage based upon their home search behavior would be some of my feedback. I got some hands raised up. I'm gonna go Elias first and Patrick.
Yeah, I love this, Tim. And first off, we got to take some responsibility. And what I would do is I would look in my database, especially the people that have been getting leads for some time, look at any of the leads that had toured prior to August 17th, and then ask yourself, what did I do just to stay in communication with them to bring them up to speed about the changes that are happening in the market? Maybe there's a video that you can drop to them. Maybe there's a PDF that you've seen. Maybe it's something that we've created that explains the new agency agreement, compensation, so on and so forth. Or maybe it's a combination of both. Hey, Tom, I know that we spoke a couple of weeks back. There's been some massive changes in the real estate industry and some new policies and new procedures that we have to follow. In this video, I'm going to explain how we actively work together moving forward. Also, here's a PDF so you can have that for your reference. I would love to be able to support you, help you, and explain the new changes with you. So here's my calendar link as well. Let's set up a time so we can talk, because I'm sure you're curious about the new changes. Like, we got to educate them, especially the people that were touring prior to August 17th, if we didn't educate them up to that date. So that's a good opportunity for you. Create a video, drop a PDF, drop your Calendly and say, hey, I'd love to bring you up to speed on everything that you need to know about purchasing a home after August 17th.
Thanks, Coach. That's good. Yeah, that's that strategy has proven super effective for me, Tim. That's what I've done to a lot of the clients that I've had relationships with pre-August 17th, is just really using that what's happening post August 17th as an entry point to trigger a conversation. Let's go, Patrick. Then let's go, Aaron. Thank you for that. Thank you for that that feedback, Coach, and that contribution.
Yeah, just to kind of like just write off both of you guys, using the information we have right now, interest rates, right, the new NAR settlement, it's a really easy conversation piece to get back. And one way that I learned that's really not as, I guess, scary or surprising for your old clients is saying the words, hey, this is Pat, this is the Zillow agent you connected with, or this is the agent connected with, blah, blah, a couple months ago, a couple weeks ago, just making sure that I didn't drop the ball on my end over here. How are you? Like, are you still looking to buy property this year? As you may know, interest rates are at like 5.9% FHA, 6.1%. So, and then continue on how that benefits them, right? It's just a very easy conversation. I feel like that's what's working with me personally and a team, with the Twins as well. So.
That's good. That's good. That's good, Patrick. Thank you for that. Hey, Aaron, you're up, bro. Rapid fire.
I got a couple, but the first one was I had a call where the client just wanted to know what's the property use is, right? And so it's partly on me, because when it hit me, like, she just wanted the property usage, didn't want to tour anything, it threw me off, and I think I maybe went into my response a little apprehensively, and then she pounced on it. But I basically said, okay, I'll look into the property and the usage, but I need to send you over this single property agreement so I can release information to you. And she lost her mind. And I mean, I felt for her because it's public information. I should be able to just look it up. And I put it in the Slack channel, and I think it was Iona who said, you know, like it's public information, so I think we're clear on it. But I want to get the feedback from everybody on how they would approach a situation where it was just a raw piece of land in the Delta, and she just wanted to know what the proper use of the land.
She wanted to know what? What did she want to know specifically? I couldn't hear that part.
Oh, just the property use. Like, what is it zoned? How is it? How can I use this land?
I've had multiple like leads like that as well recently.
Hey, Kelly,
People in
maybe-
Canada.
If you can add some value to the conversation.
I've just been getting a lot of leads that want a lot of information on the property. And I do have them sign the BRBC if they want that information too. Sometimes they don't want to sign it, and I lose the lead. So I'm still learning, and it's not too simple.
Well,
know.
the new rule the new rule is that we cannot answer any question property related without a signed consent form. I call it a Turing agreement, you call it BRBC, either one of the two. We cannot pull disclosures, we can't answer specific questions around property specs, land use. If that is my understanding from Karina in terms of the application or the role and the implication of this new role. Okay, so if they don't want to sign the property touring agreement, Aaron, or they definitely don't want to, they're not interested in the BRBC, unfortunately, there's not much that much of a resource that we can be for them without having some type of a consent form on file. And that's to both cover you as an agent or us as agents and the lead as a buyer, but more so us as agents, as the new rules have a greater implication on how we do business. Does that make sense? Aaron, what was the final solution? What was the solution to that? She didn't want to.
No, yeah, she just was like, this is ridiculous. I'm gonna just call the county, and she hung up on me. So she was mad that I even brought it up. And again, it might have been my apprehensive nature about doing it. Like it caught me off guard, so I didn't go into it with when I listened to it back, I didn't go into it with, you know, the confidence I needed to, you know, have her respond differently. So I think her response was also in part the way I went into the question, but after that, I was trying to brainstorm ideas of what I can do to kind of overcome that. So I was just looking for feedback, and what Kelly said seems, you know, reasonable. Like some people are going to be like, okay, you know, I'll sign it for you to give me that info, and others will respond the way she did.
You know, man, I'm glad to hear you say something. Just reminded me. So there's power in going back and listening to your conversation with the lead. Okay. I know it makes us cringe when we hear ourselves recorded, and we don't want to listen to ourselves. We probably are our greatest critic, but man, it's hella learning that comes from that, because you know the energy that you were in when you were saying what you were saying. And it may not have come out the way that it came. You may not have intended it to come out the way that it came out, to where it puts the lead in a defensive position. Just listening to yourselves, which is why we're really beginning to advocate making our calls through Follow Up Boss. I know it sucks. I don't like to make my calls through Follow Up Boss. It's a hassle. I prefer to make my calls on my cell phone. But in order for us to have the data, in order for me to have data on myself in terms of performing a SWOT analysis on the quality of my call, I got to use the mechanisms that record, so that we can have the data, so that we can improve in that. So good side point, Aaron, about going back and listening to yourself. I would encourage you guys to do that, because that's one of the best learning tools that we have access to, is critiquing ourselves. Question for you, broader group, while we're waiting on Max to join the space, what would you do to increase your conversions? This is a question that's open to the entire group. Jessica, thank you for your contribution. Late.
Sorry. So I think for me, well, this is not an answer to your question, but I've been having trouble with, so I get people on Zillow, right? And then as soon as I bring up the BRBC, they change their mind to go tour the property. But then I still see them looking at properties. So I don't really know how to re-engage them. I had this client that said, "Oh, I changed my mind," but he's still on Zillow, like looking at properties.
So the beautiful thing about being able to observe the buyer activity within the Zillow platform is that gives us an opportunity or a point of engagement, right? So, I mean, text through the platform, video text is what I found to be most effective. But hey, Johnny, hey, Sarah, I just saw that you looked at 123 Main Street. You know, I'm putting together my showing schedule for this weekend, Saturday and or Sunday. Which day and time slot would you like to get out and potentially see the property, right? See if we get some engagement in that capacity. Video text is what I found to be a lot more personable than texting through the platform or texting through my or texting through Follow Up Boss for that matter. So use the buyer activity and that search behavior as artillery to really re-engage. Does that make sense?
Even if he says, "Oh no, just I'm still not ready yet."
Did you put him in nurture status because
Okay.
based on the new rules, we cannot provide any due diligence, any education, any advice, any resources around real estate without at minimum having some form of an agreement on file.
Mhm.
Does that answer your question, Jessica?
Yes.
Jessica.
Yeah.
Are you asking the question of when they say, we're not ready? Well, why aren't you ready? What's holding you back? Because
No.
I kind of feel like they're just scared and they're obviously interested. They're obviously looking. Maybe they're not ready today, but maybe they're going to be ready in 3 to 4 months and you can help them get ready. So always ask them the question of, well, what's the fear? What's the hesitation? What's the holdup? Why not now? Because I see you're looking at houses and you got to go through steps to get to me. They actually have to go through many steps to get to us, you guys. So there's some form of interest. So just find out what the bottleneck is so that you can provide a solution.
You know,
because,
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
No,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
Well, because they're ready. They are ready. Maybe not today, but they're going to be ready very soon. And you want to be the agent that provides all of the solutions all the way across the board because you bring to the table credit solutions, lending solutions, and finding them the house.
So I recognize that Max has jumped into the call, but Jessica, I want to just thank you for that, Lisette, because what that brings us back to is the initial conversation where we're setting the appointment, understanding location, and getting clear on their motivation, right? So there was something that motivated a lead to connect with us. There's something that motivated them to get on Zillow and begin a home search, right? Whatever that why is, that initially was their motivation, I oftentimes like to double back around and try and get them to reconnect to what that initial why was and their motivation. When I hear, well, I'm not ready yet. Okay, well, what was it that originally got us connected in the first place? What is that reason? Well, we want to expand, or maybe you can draw something from reconnecting them to their why and their motivation that would then trigger or overcome that fear. Does that make sense? Yep. Max, welcome to the space, my friend. Everyone, if your cameras can be on, I would really appreciate that. Rosa, I hope the twins woke up and that's the reason why your face is not in the camera anymore. Dang. Oh, yes. Oh, she just had twin girls.
I'm a feeder, but
oh, so beautiful. Well, Max, want to welcome you into the space. Everyone, I want to introduce you to Max. Max is our Zillow rep out in Seattle, Washington. Whomever this is, who's Gong note taker? Who's that? Does that belong?
That's me. That's me. If you can accept it into the room if possible.
I absolutely will. We don't accept late arrivals, Max, but we will make an exception for
Thank you.
You're
It's my software, so don't even, don't worry on that one. So thank you for doing that.
So,
Well, yeah, go for it. How do you want me to kick this off?
Yeah, bro, I invited Max into this space for a couple of different reasons. I really think it's good for us to put a face with a name, right? We are a team. And Max and I have been working on the back end since I've kind of taken the baton, Max, Elias, and myself, but more so directly, Max and I, just around ideas on really how to take our team to the next level. We know that we're a championship team. We've had this conversation earlier. Yes, I will allow the recording, but it's good to bring Max into the space, for him to get a dose of our energy and our vibrations, and for us to get a dose of his energy and his vibrations. I brought him in here for some specific reasons, and we're gonna really frame some questions to Max to really give us some insight. But more importantly, as of yesterday, Agent Connection, Zillow just rolled out the new Agent Connections program. So brought Max in to really speak to us about the Agent Connection program, the philosophy and the concepts behind it, what it's going to look like in application. And then Max, I know that you're open to a few questions that I'm going to pose to you within the group so that we can really add some substance to the conversation. So without further ado, everyone, please welcome Max, our Zillow rep, to our Conversion Clinic space. Max?
Thanks for having me today. Really exciting to meet you all. This is a really incredible team. I think I just saw one of my team had posted, it was like the top 100 or whatever, and this was like a top 5 team in California, if I remember correctly. I don't know if you know like the thing that I saw, but either way, really great team, obviously. And I guess what I wanted to do today is introduce myself to you all, just give you all a direct outlet to me, and it's just kind of recalibrate on what Zillow is asking you to do. I know, things come down from Zillow that sometimes obviously will make it to Dan or Vernon or anyone else on your leadership team. And I wanted to kind of step back and just provide the why with some of it. Just quick about me. I've been with Zillow coming up on 11 years in December. I was in the market-based pricing, so the zip code kind of more sales side, for about 9.5 years. And then I've been with Flex coming up on, I think, about a little over a year and a half now. I worked on the East Coast for a long time, but I do live in Seattle. I spent a lot of time in California with family. I'm actually down here now. So I was really excited to move to the West Coast team, where I get to work a lot of the Bay Area. So I guess just to kind of dive right in with you all and understand a little bit better about why, what are the things we're working on. A lot of what comes down to the zip codes themselves and making sure that we're competitive comes down to just the sheer number of transactions. So Zillow gives you guys a transaction goal every month. This goal is taken into account how many leads you've received. Mostly weighted is the ones in the last 6 months, but really the total amount over the past 2 years is what we count. And the transaction target is effectively what's going to make the biggest impact besides the roster size. And then things like ALM and answer rate also play into it as well. Talking a little bit about the agent connection planning, this is something that is just so sorely overdue. We've been talking about this for years and years. What's historically driven connection count for each of you has been simply who is the fastest to answer the phone. And some of you are really fast, and some of you aren't as fast. And that is just simply what was the biggest indicator on how many leads you received. Then, as you know, we launched one-to-one connections about 6 months ago, where we would kind of popcorn style bounce to different people. And now we're doing that, but we're taking more into account really what the conversion for each person looks like is. So the process today is that you all received a text at the end of last month. I know you weren't expecting it, and I know that because I wasn't expecting you to get it. So if I wasn't expecting it, you probably weren't either. But we sent you a text. We asked you what your capacity is. Our system will take that into account. Obviously, if you have limits in terms of how many leads you can receive, we'll obviously take that into consideration. And then if you have a high ceiling, then your leadership team and I are aware of it, and we'll work with you towards maybe getting that number. But yeah, we're looking at your conversion over 6 months, how many leads you actually want, how many leads you've been taking on. This is very metrics driven. So I guess I'll turn it over to you guys or Vernon, whoever wants to start, but really, our system is going to give you what you deserve and what you've earned, and it's going to come down to conversion. It always has. This is a team that I think has just to be really frank, good opportunity to reach its potential. And I don't think this team is today. I think genuinely this team is, we're not ranked amongst the tops in your market. And I know you guys have specific zip codes and markets that you want more leads in, and we have to work hard to get there. So I wanted to provide a little context behind that and just open this up for a general conversation.
Yes.
Vernon, wherever you think we should go from there.
Yeah, thank you for that, Max. And we had this conversation last week. If you have not received a text message from Zillow, there's a reason for that. Either you had not received a lead in the last 45 days, or you were not enrolled as on the Flex roster by the time the text messages went out.
Yeah.
But what we do, I have the ability on the back end to manipulate the amount of leads that we receive and allocate them to those who are whose lead routing feature is turned on, who's active, and those who are not. But I want to reiterate something that Max just said. I want to echo it. It's based on, this is strictly metric based. So moving forward, essentially your lead flow is going to be based on your answer rate and your conversion rate. Okay. If you're answering the phone, if your lead flow is on, your routing is on, you're answering the phone, you're setting appointments, you're meeting the appointments where we're constructing offers, it's highly probable that our conversion rate is going to be higher. That is how the lead flow direction, how the flow is going to be directed moving forward. I just want you guys to be clear on it is completely going to be based on 100% your performance. So speaking to that, Max, and I want to just keep our time consistency in consideration, as we got about 17, 18 minutes before the hour is up. But you mentioned a few things, Max, that I really want to have you speak a little bit further to.
Yeah.
We are within eXp Realty globally, we're the number 2 producing team within the entire brokerage.
Yeah.
However, within this Zillow program, Bay Area wide, we're not even in the top 5. Okay. We understand that there's a gap there that Elias and I are working on constructing a bridge to bring that gap in. However, from your perspective, what can we do as a team to really turn the corner, to go from the bottom third rung of a lot of our performance metrics to top 5 in all of them, from your perspective, as succinctly as you can?
Yeah, I mean, it's really a transaction-based system. And I think what I would encourage you all to do is work with Vernon and your leadership team to figure out where you're stuck in the funnel. I think that every agent has things that they do incredibly well, and every agent has things that they can grow with. And I think what we want to do on our end is to provide you the data and transparency of where we think your metrics are strong and where we have room to grow. So I think part of this is just putting the power back in all of your hands and saying, like, look, Zillow's evaluating really the bottom of the funnel, which is transactions. But if you have things that you feel like you do really well, keep doing them. And if you have things that you need to work on, then tap your leadership team and say, I want to go over my metrics and figure out where I'm getting stuck so that I can really kind of jar some of the deals loose and get a few more transactions. Let me say this about the funnel, or not the funnel, but the agent connection planning. The agent connection planning system that we're implementing, it's not a fair and equitable system. What I mean by that is it doesn't give everybody the exact number of connections. It doesn't look for making sure the people at the bottom are getting enough. What I mean by that is, let's say a team's getting 50 connections and has 10 team members. They could get 5 each, which is kind of how our system used to operate. Or maybe it does a really fair system or not fair, but like a system where it's like, well, the top people will get 8 and the middle people will get 5 and the bottom people will get 2. Our system doesn't do that. Our system starts at the top and we fill up the cup of the top agents completely and we work our way down until we got nothing left. So the bottom third is not designed to get leads. Now your leadership team may override that and try to get you a few opportunities, but the system is not designed to give the lowest converters even a fair shake. We're basically saying, if you're not converting 3, 4, 5%, there's just not going to be enough opportunities for you. We have to prioritize the people that are converting at a high level. So I think, just to go back to the original question, what can you all do? I think it's just continuing to work on your strengths and do the things that you do well and figure out where you might be getting stuck with your pipeline and just get the transactions where they need to be. The system is very reactive to recent success. A lot of the things that I look at with your leadership team, they are evaluating 12-month success, 6-month success. This system in particular that evaluates your leads, this is weighing 3-month success more heavily, which means if you get one deal out of nowhere, let's say you converted one deal in a year, you're a 1% converter, but then you get one deal in the past 3 months, our system will actually look at you as probably a 3 or 4% converter. It'll favor that recent success. So all of you just need to get a few more transactions in there, and the system is going to completely change the way you're prioritized in there. If that
So
makes sense.
I'm gonna share my screen really quick, just so that I can give you guys a glimpse of what it is that I look at on the back end as it relates to the Agent Connection program. Now, I want you to keep in mind, not everyone received the text, so not everyone's figures are input into the system that you would have determined for yourself. I've started to move some of these numbers, some of these projected connections around, as I know that we've been bringing on new agents who may not have, you know, a 3, 4, or 5% conversion rate right now, but that I know who has been hungry, who's been grinding, who's been present, who's been eating. Now, their name may be at the lower rung of the list only because they are new to the program, yet and still, let me see if I can figure this out. Let me give you a quick visual just so that you can see what I look at and what Max is actually referring to. And then what I'm going to do, Max, is I'm going to open it up to for a few questions that I'm sure. Can you guys see that screen? Can you see this? Yes? Thumbs up, everyone? Yes, no? Let me know. Okay. What Max is referring to looks just like this. We have 317 forecasted connections coming up this month. What he's saying is those whose performance rankings are high are those who Zillow is automatically going to funnel those leads to first. As we get lower into our fair and our good status, and you'll see what the projected conversion rates are. Fair, it begins at 3%, right? So we're talking all these fair agents here, 3, 4, 5%. As we get up higher, those leads are going to be allocated to the group of agents who have a higher performance metric or a higher conversion rate. That's just how the system is built. There's no way to get around that. Okay. Shoot. Let me get back here. Forgive me for my technical difficulty.
Yeah, right.
So
just to kind of, from a Zillow perspective, unpack that a little bit. Our system is going to start at the top, and we're going to take the people who convert at a high level, and we're going to just say we want to give them as many connections as we can. That's what our system is designed to do. Now, you all might have things in your schedule that prevents you from 15 connections in a given month. Maybe your pipeline's already full, so you can obviously taper it down. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be more of a performance-based system than it's ever been. This team has really big goals and aspirations. I know that, you know, you guys have, like I said, certain markets that you're targeting that you guys don't really get Zillow connections in today, and we need to go back to being at the top to do that. But I think this is just simply a chance for you all also where, you know, I want to make sure if you have Zillow questions or things that you think about with this. I know there's things that you guys are all doing. There's anything from market headwinds to challenges with getting buyer, you know, agreements under contract. But the important thing for me is just making sure that you all believe that, you know, we are looking out for this team and that you feel like your leadership team is voicing your guys' concerns and feedback in a way that makes sense. And I think this is a team that I really believe if we just kind of like make, you know, look, we're not talking about major changes. I'm sure the job most of you do today is fantastic. And what I want to use our time and our collaboration to do is just a fraction of a percentage. If we could change your guys' conversion by even a fraction of a percentage. When I jumped on the call, I don't know who it was, but someone was talking about Zillow buyers coming on and the different things that you think about with Zillow buyers. And I think about this. For someone to get to you in the first place on Zillow, I know you've all talked to buyers that already had agents, or you had people that it's like, why is this person coming through the system? But just to remind you guys, for somebody to become a buyer on Zillow.com that actually gets on the phone with you, they have proactively gone through a 6-step process. They went on Zillow, they found a home they liked, they made a Zillow profile, they inquired on that home, they set an appointment, and then they actually answered during that appointment time. So for them to even get on the phone with you all in the first place, it is a proactive 6-step process that if they fall off during any of those 6 steps, they don't come across that way. So I know that I'm sure you've dealt with people where it's like, I don't know how this person got through. I don't know why somebody who's working with an agent was able to get a hold of me. But there's a lot of buyers out there that are in your pipelines and they're, just trying to navigate this really challenging thing that a lot of them have never done before. And so, if there's anyone that has any thoughts or questions or anything like that, I do want to open up the discussion here. But, my goal is simply just make sure that this team is operating at the caliber that I know it can. And I can get, the sky's the limit for any of you. You figure this out and you just get your conversion up a few percentage points. Like we'll give you as many opportunities as your schedule allows for. But I don't know. You all tell me, where do you guys think that you have the most room to grow? How can our time together be effective today? What do you need to hear, or
Well,
what do you want to talk through?
yeah, love that, Max. I know that there are a couple of agents who are in this space now that have shared with me directly, who have been experiencing various challenges with either enrollment, getting things synced. Who's our best point of contact? Because we've had some choppy responses from Zillow as it relates to trying to create a seamless process for agent enrollment or any complications that we're having within any of the profiles on our end. Who is our point of contact for all things Zillow Flex?
The fastest way to get anything resolved is going through Zillow partner support. There's a 888 phone number that's in my email signature, or you can send an email case. Vernon, for you or anyone really, you can put in Kenny's phone number, which is our main point of contact number, and we'll get you through to the VIP line. I can double check with you, Vernon, offline what phone number we have versus what it should be.
Okay.
But yeah, I think partner support, I mean, I would use them if there's any profile issues. If you guys have constantly like dropping leads, let's say, I look at this with your leadership team, and let's say one of you has dropped 7 calls in a month, and it's going to look like probably cherry picking, but let's say that you've had genuine tech issues. What do you think sounds better to your leadership team, that they have to wait to ask you what happened and then you tell them there were tech issues, or that you proactively tell them, hey, I had some tech issues or this issue, like I already called Zillow partner support and resolved it? I think,
Okay, perfect.
right? Like we're looking for a little bit more proactive of an approach, because we just don't know if there's issues unless you tell us.
Yeah, and what I'm seeing from our team now is that proactivity, which really prompted me to ask you that question in the space, because I've been getting a bunch of feedback from a lot of our team members being proactive around reaching out to agent support or reaching out to support on the back end, haven't really been able to get any direction or solution, still having the existing problem, which led me to asking you in this conversation, well, who do we talk to? Because yes, we want our conversion rate, even a fraction of a percentage, to be increased. We've got some agents who are prepped and ready to go, but we can't seem to figure out this last glitch as to how we're getting them fully onboarded into the Zillow program so that we can get their lead flow turned on. So we'll continue to exercise the routes and the avenues that you suggested to us. I even went as far as included you in an email, I think a couple of days ago, with one of the challenges that I'm having with Estefania in terms of getting her accurate profile synced to the team. And I guess we can.
Yeah, I can cut. I was out of the office until today, so I probably haven't seen it yet.
We can pick that up offline. But in the last 5 minutes, you guys, I really want to open the floor to you all. We've got our Zillow rep here. We are all a part of the Flex program. Some have been on the program or a part of the program longer than others. But shoot, this is the opportunity to shoot a question, a concern that you have, not so much any question or concern that you may have, that you want to have an opportunity to express to our Zillow rep live and direct. This is the opportunity to do that. Ilona, Ina, Drea, we got
Hey.
Drea. Shoot, Drea. Rapid
Matt.
fire.
Nice to meet you. Yes, so this weekend I had an open house, and I specifically asked just pause just for those few hours. And during that time, I was getting a bunch of like 1 or 2 flex lead or calls, and I mean, it was, and so that was really like, I didn't want to I was kind of stuck between the two. Like, do I answer this?
No, I hear you.
Coming in.
Yeah. And you were you were self-paused during that time?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So to my understanding, the only reason you should be getting leads while you are self-paused is if somebody who is already assigned to you is coming back through. So a buyer who's already in your name goes on to Zillow. I think my understanding is it would stop you from receiving new opportunities. But if there's someone who's your buyer and they come onto Zillow, I think if you're paused, you still will get those. If this is not the case where it was a brand new buyer, if you can have Vernon send me that specific buyer's details, I can get a case in. But that's not how the system should be designed to work.
Got it. Well, like say for instance, is there a way that we can kind of schedule ahead of time for a pause, like specifically for when we're doing open house hours, so we know that it's not going to be affected during that time?
We don't have a scheduled shift model right now. It is something that we have talked about, but right now there's no pre-scheduling. We just don't have that system set up. But if that does change in the future, if there's rules that change within self-pause, I will make sure that those are communicated to all the teams. But yeah, you would need to either have your team pause you at that time, or you would need to do it yourself when you're ready to be paused, which can be up to 24 hours.
Got it. Thank you, Max.
Yeah, of
Great
course.
question,
Thanks.
Brad. Hey, Patrick, shoot, brother.
Yep, yeah, quick question regarding buyer leads that we're getting in. So right now I had about 3 or 4 that came in really fresh, but then decided to, hey, we're just gonna go rent. What would be the best, situation? Would you suggest throwing them back on the pond, trashing them, continue to nurture them, and how would that affect your conversion rate since this?
Yeah, I would never reject any buyers that unless they're like another agency professional, like an agent or somebody who's like trying to sell you something, I would never reject them. I would put them on a nurture. And what I would do in this scenario is I would tell them, because just so you all know, you get exclusivity with your buyers for 6 months. And assuming that they're going to rent, let's say for a year. So that means that they want to start their search in the next, let's say, 8 to 12-month range, right? So I would tell them, hey, you and I are already, we already have a Zillow friend request for 6 months. I'm going to send you an update right now. That'll lock us in for 12. And then as soon as you're ready to start looking at homes, either send me a text or you can start saving homes to your profile or send them to me that way. And then we can start looking whenever you're ready. So what I would do is I would take them, I would tell them, I totally understand renting makes sense for you, but as soon as you are ready to start the buying process, I want to be your partner in it. So I'll call you, if you're going to just do a 12-month lease, like I'll check in with you in 6 months. I'm going to send you an invite that gets us synced up for 12 months on Zillow. And then as soon as you're ready to start the process, we'll go from there. I would not reject the lead. And the reason I don't want to reject any leads, just so you guys all know the downside, is it will end their exclusivity window with you right then and there. If you reject a buyer, it automatically takes them out of exclusivity, which means if they go to inquire on another house in your market, it'll go right to another team. So that's what I would do. Did that answer your question?
Oh, absolutely. So that helped out a lot. And also
Cool.
a quick question on that auto sync thing for 12 months. How do we do that?
Yeah, you would do that within your inbox on desktop or mobile. You would click on the buyer, and then in any, I don't know if I have you guys pulled up right now. For the sake of time, I could probably send you a My Agent guide, but you would be able to click on the buyer and it'll say you're exclusive until this date, that date being, let's say you're my buyer today, it'll say you're exclusive through March 12th. And then you can click on it and you can send it for 12 months. Or you can make a QR code of your profile, which I have a lot of teams do. They have a QR code of their Zillow, and you can send that to your friends, family, people you're working with. And if they manually add you as their agent, automatically does it for 12 months, whether they were a Zillow lead or not.
That's good stuff.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Max, thank you for that. Patrick, thank you for that. Anyone else? Open space, Q&A opportunity with the Zillow rep. Any Zillow related questions you may have? I know I've heard from a few of you guys. This is an opportunity for you to, Rick, I see your hand up, brother. Let's get rapid fire. We're down to 2 minutes and we want to respect everyone's time.
Yeah, real quick. So I don't have the self-pause feature. I've uninstalled the app, tried to reinstall it, try to update it, not showing up. So it's the best route for me to go to partner support.
Yeah, say the issue again.
He doesn't have the self-pausing feature in his profile, his portal.
If everyone else does, then this may be something that's not enabled for you. Let me I'll look into that. Yeah, and this is on for the team, right, Vernon? Self-pause?
Yes.
Okay. If you're not seeing it in your settings, I'll look into it and I'll send Vernon a link. Yeah, I will take care of it.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
Cool. And then what I'll
Yeah.
do, Rick, as soon as I get correspondence from Max, I will tap in with you via Slack, brother, and we'll execute the next action items to get that feature enabled.
Yeah,
for you.
I will work on that today.
Yep,
All
for
right.
sure.
Thank you.
Well, you guys, thank you for your time. It is 12 noon. I'm going to respect everyone's time and efficiency. As you know, Max, I want to thank you for joining our space. This is your first time coming into our space, but this will not be your last time being welcomed into our space. For those of you whose cameras were on and you were present, super grateful to you. Listen, let's get out. Let's convert. All we're looking for is to improve in fractions. Let's answer our phones. Let's set those appointments. Okay. Be confident in our presentation, confident in our sequence, confident in our next steps. And I'm looking forward to hearing some positive things as we get into the rest of the week, into the weekend, going into next week. In the meantime, grace, peace, and blessings to you guys. Have a dope ass week, and I'll talk to you next time.
Bye, everybody. Good to meet you.
Thank y'all.